Okay. Hello, I'm Dr. Priscilla. I am your AOH writing coach, and today this is week 6. Although we missed 2 weeks, the process was nothing different than what we've done before. The goal is to consistently write, and if you're writing, that's all that matters. Collecting your thoughts, writing your thoughts. And the biggest part, according to what I remember from what our coach Lisa teaches us, is that we should utilize the group so that you don't have to pay for someone to edit your work. That was why I was suggesting and recommending that you post your work so that others can give you feedback as to how they are receiving your work. Now, obviously, you're not posting, well, I don't know, you may have. If you did, I didn't see it. You could post in OYB, as some people have done that are in OYB and they want others to read their work or post on their blog. But I know that in this group, I've read a few things, but it is not such a composite that would contribute to the totality of a book. So with the next 2 weeks, you still have that option. And of course, you have the option of having someone actually edit your book. And that is one of the prices that is, I think they start at around $300, unless you just know someone. And I imagine I did not have anyone edit my book because, one, it was a personal book, and I think I can read and I may have some of the tenses off, but it's not that important to me. My book is not one that I'm trying to replicate or someone should try to replicate in terms of caring for someone else. It's just a book that is to be read and maybe entertain how I interact with my mother. So with that said, my question is, how can I support either of you in what you're doing?
Can I share first?
Sure.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Tara.
Well, I'll just share that I think yesterday or the day before, I think it just kind of hit me that the reality is getting close to being here.
Okay.
So I may have froze a little bit with the reality that the end is near. And how do I feel about what I wrote to share with the world? So I think for me, when I posted today, I was thinking about how much more did I feel like I needed to write. So I think that's my question for you, right? When you were writing yours, how did you know when enough felt like it was enough for you?
I knew it was enough when she said that was week 4. She said, when she told me that it was week 4, we were entering into week 4, and everything was done. Everything was done really in week 3. Week 4 was to look at it in totality. Did I have chapters? Was it something that I felt good about, even though it may not be complete? So here is what I think I want to say about that. If I look back at my chapters today, which I have, my last chapter would have not been the last chapter that is in my book. But because my chapters were not one that built on each other, they were somewhat independent, it really didn't matter. And I really wanted to be done with that part. I also knew that I had the foundation, I had the fundamentals of how to write a book now. If I were to do it differently, I know now how I would do something differently. And this may be where you are. My book was not written with the thought of it becoming a bestseller. It would be phenomenal if it would, but I will tell you what is missing in terms of what I'm able to offer for a bestseller, and I guess that might be the same that my coach offered. She wasn't trying to convince me that I was writing a bestseller. She convinced me that I was a writer and I had something that could be worthy of reading by the world. And I found that to be true. And I hope that those of you who have gotten to some extent in the book, that you did find that it was written in a comprehensive manner, easy to follow, and you could see
Yes.
my life with the relationship with my mother. That was my intent.
Mhm.
And I received that. Yeah, that's what I got when I read it.
So that was what I wanted to do. I also wanted to make a contribution to the Alzheimer's people because they have been so instrumental in helping me with mother, like where I got some type of chair from somebody. I'm sure it had to do with dementia. That if I can promote my books, even if I'm not selling my books, which I'm not selling my books, I sold my books to you all and I sold books to my family. But I've only sold one book on Amazon, and that one book was purchased by one of my friends that supports me, and maybe Kalia purchased hers on Amazon, but everyone else purchased their books from me, and that was to my insurance person, my tax preparer, the person that does my fingers, and just, people who I do business with, my realtor, people that I do business with purchase books from me. And that's who I've sold books to. The other people will be when I go to speak about Alzheimer's, not because, I want to talk about Alzheimer's, but I'll be exercising my ability to speak as a speaker. So I'll be giving books away as a gift for their participation or drawing. And this one place that I am going, but I haven't gone, is at the library. And she said that I couldn't sell or do any financial transactions at the library. There are other places that I know that I can go. I just can't work it into my schedule at this point. So Tara, if you feel that your book is not at the level that you want your book to be at in terms of the breadth that you want to capture, I know that yours is more, I don't know if it's more that because I haven't read that much, but maybe it's like a training manual or something. Or Francisca's, for example, hers is more to reach masses that is going to transform some lives within the readings. My book is not written to transform anyone's life. It's just to share with you my experience with my mother. So you may need more time. I don't know that you need more time, but you can just get the feel of what a book looks like. You don't have to publish your book. What I was offering to you all, I know that if you start talking about your book every day, every week on Anchors of Hope, it gives you more validity and a level of comfort when you go out into your arenas and talk about your book. You will have that because you've practiced that here in this safe environment. Does that make sense, what I've said?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Leah, what did you want to say or ask?
I think that I put my comment there today, my update written, and it's just that I think right now I've put on paper as much as I can, because mine's coming from a personal standpoint of different struggles that I've had and how I've overcome. So I think I've told the stories or like gotten that information out, and I don't think I really have any more to tell. So now it's a matter of showing the story, like you said, like putting it into more of a story so it's readable and you paint the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm hoping at that point then that would be enough, because outside of that, maybe mine is a report instead of a book, right? But I'm still endeavoring to do it. But I mean, I've been looking for pictures. I still want to get some quotes and even other stories of people that I've heard that maybe inspired me in my journey when I was at points where I was wanting to give up or whatever, right? So I think it can come together. It's just doing that research now is where I need to go. And like I say, modifying or embellishing and telling this or showing the story rather than just having it out on the page. So I was kind of stuck because that's where I am, where I get to where I don't know what to do next. I just tend to do nothing, right? And so I was going, oh my goodness, I don't have anything more to tell. And let's say I'm at, I don't know how many words I'm at, but let's say I'm at 15,000 or 20,000. I'm going, well, I don't know, nothing more to do kind of thing, right?
You know, I said a 100 page. Maybe your book is going to be 50 pages. It doesn't have to be 100. That's just a suggestion. It could be 50 pages. It could be perhaps 10 pages, you know, but I'm sure you have more than 10 pages. The idea is to get something that you would consider a book. And 25 pages could be a book. There's something called somebody's prayer. Whose prayer is it that's, you know, maybe 10 pages? You know, just
like the prayer of Jabez or something.
I mean, it's something like a nightstand book. You know, God grant me the something, enlarge my whatever. The prayer of something.
Prayer of Jabez, I think it is. Jabez, isn't it?
Thank you. That's it. So that's a book. So I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be. And there was a girl at the seminar in Dubai. Her book was she was Dr. Cherie, and her book was I think 85 pages. And of the 85 pages, every chapter of the total 85 pages, I think every chapter had, you know, fill in the blank, like lines.
Oh.
So it was more like a workbook, but it was a book about, and hers was hardback. And,
wow.
And I thought, well, I didn't think about making mine hardback. I'm happy that I didn't make mine hardback. But she had ones. My point is, it isn't so much about pages. And because I was trying to get my designated DR on the back of my book on the spine, you'll notice that I have one page that's just full of blank lines, but it wasn't enough pages. And I said, you know what? That's fine. Dr. Priscilla's on the front. And I was just ready to be done. I was just ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
I can't remember who is it that asked me to excuse them tonight because they're going to be having an endocrinology or something. But she had asked that I record. But I want to tell you that I am recording, obviously. But there isn't anything that I'm saying that I think is just going to be perhaps what she's looking or listening for. And I'm going to tell you why. This is the first time that I've guided anyone in writing their book. Whether you all are successful or not, I am still going to promote More What I Know for $3.97 and hopefully in mid-May. For those of you who do not write your book within this 8-week period, your continuation with me is going to be $25 an hour. And I justify that, not that I need to, is because I actually charge $27 per hour to my paying students. But since you've already started with me, it will be $25 an hour, or you can consider $125 for the duration of your book, whatever that duration may mean for you. That would mean that I would actually edit your book, but that doesn't mean that I'm any more of an expert on reading your material than you are yourself. You just have evidence of what I have as my own book. No one edited my book. I just read it to see if it sound right. I know that, Francisca, I know that you are an excellent writer already. Your writing. Now I have
Dr. Priscilla, listen.
No. Well, let me just say, in terms of showing, your writing is excellent. I mean, I can just sense the tears as they burn down your cheeks, or the way that you express yourself. It is like, it's golden. You are there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's golden.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll tell you my struggle. Like, I feel like a fraud.
So that is there. I am.
I write a lot. Can I give you an update? So
Yes,
I've been
please.
writing so much. Like one day I wrote 5,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
Because I stay in bed if something is bothering me, so I sit and I just write. Today I woke up around 4 p.m. To go and cook so I could be on this call. I finished the whole chapter. Now I edited it. That's my first complete chapter. And my introduction, everything is all over. I was telling Kiliha.
No, your introduction was perfect. I didn't see anything.
That was my dedication. So I was doing my introduction.
Whichever one I read, it was perfect.
Yeah. So I had to look for the bits and pieces in my phone, in my Samsung Notes, in my USB. So that's me. Like, I'm like that, but I'm so creative. And I was feeling like an overwhelm of these ideas, and I just need to write them somewhere, even if I'm walking. So now I'm like, where is that thing that I wrote so I can go get it and put it somewhere?
Right.
That's what's going on. And I saw your video, which I hadn't been able to watch for some reason. I tried it week 4. So I noticed that I should have done my review, but Amazon won't let me. I wanted to show you the screenshot. So I have to sort it out with them because I think I'm a Prime member. So I don't know why they won't let me review. But I tried to do that just to check in with what I did for my homework. And then the 4 quadrants that you recommended that we have, I started working on it today because I was behind.
Okay.
So now I'm beginning to put structure because I think I have too many words lying all over the place. So I'm like, okay, what are my 4 parts? And I'm very happy with the chapter that I finished today.
Okay.
It's Boys Will Be Boys. But I don't think that's the first one. So I just have a conflict, like you're saying, where to put what. I want to talk about becoming a mother. Maybe that's chapter 1 because it's Mother, Behold Thy Son. How did I become a mother? And I just don't want to talk about my son. I have 2 daughters before my son.
Right.
So I'm talking about equality. There's no way I'm going to make this book about my son only without first acknowledging the girls.
Well, so I remember reading something, I mean, not reading, but listening to you talk about in something that you had posted that we have to be, as mothers, be mindful of how we speak. There's a lot of estrogen in your family.
Yes,
See,
yes.
That's a part of a chapter.
Yes, yes.
That should find its way somewhere within your book.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But where, you know, it just depends on the title. It depends on the title. And your book may not necessarily need to follow a particular format. Like this happened in 2019 and your son was 6 and you were talking like this. It can be like mine.
Yeah.
Mine's is all over the place. The only thing I would say, I probably would have used a different chapter for my last chapter. But because it wasn't a sequential book, you know, I think it's perfectly fine. I'm looking at my book now to see. I think Where is Mother's Happiness Now probably would have been the best chapter for the last chapter. But I put, well, I got What I Know Now. What I Know Now is my last chapter, but I could have easily put Where is Mother's Happiness Now? Because it is about her. Is she happy? The cost, you know, the things that I had to sacrifice could have gone much further to the front, but it doesn't really matter. So
the support that I need from my colleagues, really, I think I'm writing a topic that is very sensitive to the world, but I'm writing about my experience, and they're experts in the field. I managed to access one and I contacted her. She works for some university. I would like to write in such a way that it's very simple. It's my story. But if an academic gets hold of that book, they are not going to say, what were you talking about? Because I also did study a bit of gender, although I'm not an expert. I did it at master's level as a subject. So for me right now, what I was doing is, okay, this is my experience. Now I'm organizing it at that other level, at the academic level, but I don't want to write academic language in my book. I want it to be accessible to any mother with any son who has not studied gender. So it's not about the jargon, for the technical jargon,
I
but
think that the technical part or the academic would be in your workbook, because
yeah, on the
I
action
can
point.
see yours being a workbook, and probably not so much that I know what yours is about, Tara, but yours could probably be a workbook as well. But the true I probably got to go get me some water. The true academic would be in the workbook where you refer to blah 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 blah. I need to go get some water because I'm gonna sit here and strangle. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
So,
hi, Kaliha.
So I have a question.
Unmute, yeah.
My book is actually going to be, it's on success, but it's actually my own journey of how I kind of discovered success within me. And I'm just wondering, because I'm writing in sequence, how do you bridge the gap between chapters? For anyone that's writing in sequence.
You would probably do that like Lisa tells us. You've got your story, you've got your valley, and then you've got something that you're going to, it's not necessarily academic, it may be a personal experience. And I know that you've got a lot of material where, Tara, you've read Miles Monroe, the person who wrote The End in Mind. To me, that would be, you would use something like that as your bridge into what you're going to tell me next.
Okay.
And based upon that, it doesn't seem that it even needs to be sequential in terms of time. Yours could go however it flows for you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the story, it's content story.
Exactly.
And then you find the connector.
Right.
I think I was thinking about the same thing with Boys to Men. That I end where I say we were fighting back as girls, and then the next chapter will be about the dangers of Boys to Men. So just that the last, if you want to link your chapters, then whatever you write in the end must be linked to what you're going to begin in the next chapter. So just being mindful what you choose to be your last paragraph for the chapter, and then making sure that if you want to continue that way, it has to have, like, it's just the beginning, the end is the beginning of the next chapter. So making that connection. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, that's what my thinking is. And that's the benefit of having the group, to get the feedback. My thoughts are just what I'm thinking, not necessarily, the gavel goes down based upon what I say or what I think. I knew that, I'm trying to find you all. Okay. I knew that once I actually completed this activity, yes, I've written my thesis, a book for that class, and I knew how to do an academic book, but I've never written something like this. And then when I did, I realized that other people can do this as well. The main, and I'm going to give you the link, but it's the research, it's just understanding what you need to do. I looked at so many videos, read so many other things, and I think that her name just doesn't come to me. I don't have this to give to you. I'm going to give you the KDP link, which is where you can go and do the exact same thing that I'm telling you tonight. I just needed someone to hold my hand. Tell me something to do week 1, which is to write. Then practice saying what it is that I want to say, knowing that someone is hearing me, which is what Paula Michelle did. Every time I would like, you mean write this? Talk about my mother? And like, she's hanging out the window? Well, yeah, what does that look like? What does it look like when she's trying to get out of the window oh, okay, I can write that. But first I just wrote a picture of mother's trying to get out of the window. And why is she trying to get out of the window? What does that look like? I look at the picture and I can see that she's got everything on her back, no shoes, no socks, and she's ready to go. Now, if I want to still continue to talk about that, I could add more and more and more and just blow it up some more. But I didn't need to do that. I was adding up pages, and that was the extent of what I wanted to write. But again, my book was just about a relationship with my mother, not about what anyone else might experience, what anyone else might feel, or anything like that. It was just an objective, write a book, and I did. And out of that, I see that I can develop a stream of income. Now, most of you know that my ideal thing is to teach conversational English to English language learners. It had nothing to do with writing a book. But when we talk about the different streams of income, we have lots of talents, and everything that I've done, you can do as well. It's just that I needed the evidence, and I need to believe that I could actually walk someone through what I'm actually doing. And I just think about what Lisa says. Can you see this? Can you see my mother, moving furniture around? Can you see how my home looks like? Can you imagine all the furniture turned toward the wall? How do I actually describe that instead of saying, well, my home is not a place that's very inviting because the seating arrangement is not adequate for people to visit? Well, what does that mean? What does it mean that it's not adequate? Well, the chairs are facing the wall, and it's a big skating rink. And you know what a skating rink looks like. It's got banisters and a big open space for whatever may take place. You don't sit in the skating rink. So I just took what I learned from Lisa and just tried to make a visual of that in my writing. So, and I love to write too, so that's a strength for me. I do enjoy writing.
All right, so you talked me back up again.
I'm sorry?
I said you talked me back up again.
Yeah.
meaning that my that fear factor crept in a little bit on me, so I have to quiet that noise.
Yeah, you have to. You don't want to wait until it's perfect, Tara. You just want to go ahead and get it done. The good thing about using the publishing that we're going to do, and I'm going to tell you how I got to it, is that when you publish your book, if you don't like the way that it looks, we'll write some more. If you've started to promote it and you want to add more to it, add more to it. But don't let it be that you are stopped because you didn't have 10 chapters and you had 5 or whatever, or you didn't elaborate on one chapter, or you found that you could have expressed something a different way. Well, then go back in and change it the next time. It's just that the people that bought the first books, because I said, oh gosh, I wish I had had this picture of my entire family that my son sent me. I don't think I'm going to put it in there, but I could. But the ones that I've already published will not have it, obviously. I don't think I'm going to put it in there, but I'm just saying that you can go back and put things in your book, because we're not sending our books out to a particular company and asking them to print up 500 copies. Amazon is going to host your book. Amazon is going to publish your book. And they're not going to publish your book until it's actually sold. So if you only get one book sold, that's all Amazon is going to publish. But I purchased 66 books for myself, and I've given away as many as I've sold. But that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
How much does it cost, or how do they determine the cost based on how many you purchase?
I think off the top of my head is 85 cents per book just to set the book up. It's 85 cents. Then it's 12 cents per page, black and white page, based upon this size. So my book is $2.24. That's the publishing price. Well, plus tax and shipping. So maybe it's like maybe $3.50. $3.50.
Okay.
And the book this size, you can sell your book for whatever price you want to put on your book.
Yeah.
I chose my price because I wasn't trying to make a profit, but I would be giving my books away. So when I go speak, because I'm using my book as a speaking tool. Now, I don't want you to think that because I'm saying that this book probably, Paula said maybe $13.97 or $14.97. But I posted it at $19.97. One, because I had the idea of doing what I'm doing now, teaching a class, but not teaching at a price that you all would have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the results of your outcome participating with me, you could say that the cost of this course with me was $25, give or take. And Leah, you got a real bonus because it cost me $10. It cost me $10 to send it to you. But because I had said I would send it, so that was the cost. So it was like $2.50 and 10, I'm sure 13, 14. So you got yours for $5, roughly speaking. The cost of entry for you was $5. But I hope that I'm giving you value, and I'm hoping that I'm answering your questions, and I'm going to give you a link. What most people don't have, and I'm comparing what most people don't have to you as my students, they do not have the time to go and do the research to find out how they can learn and practice conversational English at no cost to them. So for that reason, that is why they have to pay me, because I go and do the research. I know what they need to study to pass a particular exam. I create the exam. I give them lots of examples, and I interact with them and answer their questions. And that's what I'm doing for you. I have done the research on how to publish the book. Paula didn't tell me how to do this. She gave me an idea of what to do, but I thought I could do something differently, and I spent many hours looking for how to do this. And I'm also researching now how to promote and market my book. And there are other publishers. Kathy Kidd is very good, and she's had nothing but, publishers publishing their book and just being wonderful. But they didn't pay $19 for that. So now when you want to get a bestseller, before I learn how to do that, at least you will have the parameters for your book. And you can also republish this book that you're doing now. If you don't like it, you can give it a different title, or you can use the same title and take this one off of the market, or keep it on the market, whatever the case may be. But you'll have the fundamentals, and you have had the idea of how to talk about your book just by being in this safe space, and you talk about creating and developing your book. Okay?
Mm-hmm. So can I ask
very much?
It's a kind of personal question, but
yeah.
I mean, you don't have to answer, but I'm just curious. So when Paula coached you through yours, did you pay for her to coach you through your process, or no?
I did. I paid $4.97. But it was worth it.
Yeah.
And I think about, like, I mean, it's just saying it was $10,000. I spent $10,000 to go to Lisa in October.
Right.
And out of that, I took copious notes. I'm like, okay, let me make sure I got this. Did I understand this right? Yeah. And no, I haven't recouped that money back, but it's coming. Mm-hmm. I'm still spending money, but I'm okay with that as well. I'm okay with what I'm getting in return. But yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. But there again, she didn't promise me that I was going to be a bestseller. And she told me some things that I could do, like, go to Alzheimer's associations, create a meetup, go to churches, go to the rehab facilities where my mother is, or just wherever there is. And I always have a book in my car. I have a shoebox of books in my car that I just talk about the book. Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah.
Oh,
so
I have a question. Go ahead, Francesca.
Oh, I thought Leah was talking.
Well,
was it?
Francisca
okay.
She's frozen. Now she's back. Go back.
Yeah. So I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to ask about. My voice is going. So I did the book cover. I was just playing around.
And I love that
Canva.
cover. Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
The cover is beautiful. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I thought it would scare people because I'm too loud.
No.
I'm just loud like that.
The cover drew me in. I just love the way it just flowed over the canvas. It was very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to try to find somebody to do the actual cover so I can do that trick where I get it produced. I'm in Montreal, which is a good thing. I'm not in Nunavut right now. Mm-hmm. So I think the next step is to get somebody to do a cover for me.
Well, send me the cover. Send me the cover. Send me the cover, just a picture of whatever, the front cover.
Yeah.
Because my son put the dimensions on mine, so I didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah, just send me the picture. I think he can do it. He'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, that is if you're going to have this size book. If it's going to be bigger, I'm not so sure.
I think I actually wanted smaller, like no matter what the dimensions.
Oh, well, then that's okay too. Just not a big.
Yeah.
Just not a big.
Yeah, I don't want anything big for starters. So for me, I think I may not have the resources to go the bestseller route, but I have a conference that I'm attending in June, June this year, Women Deliver. And I went through the process and I actually made it. And what I was marketing was my perspective on engaging the male child in the gender discourse. So I think when next they have a Women Deliver conference, I want to be having the book in my hand.
Absolutely.
And what I also committed to doing is I want to be a certified coach. I do call myself a coach because I've done it before and I have produced results, but I work from a point of being a facilitator, a transformational facilitator, not a coach as such. What I know about coaching, I read on my own and mentoring and stuff like that. And I'm also a counselor. So I pull in a lot of skills from systemic family therapy, from my music, and from facilitating in the non-governmental sector. But I thought it would be important for me to have a credential, which is certified life coach. So I'm going to do it with an institution in Canada. Okay. Next year in May, May 2020, I have a speaking engagement at a global platform. So I really want this book to be a bestseller, and not just a bestseller because I had my friends or my tribe supporting me, but a real bestseller that's going to feel like a bestseller. And so I don't know.
I know one of the things about having one of the things to get a bestseller is Lisa tells us to utilize your tribe. And now I didn't go that route, but tell everyone to download your book on a particular day. But that precludes anyone wanting to buy it once you've downloaded it for free. I probably wouldn't want to buy it because I already have it, unless I was just, well, you're my friend or something. But you want it to get the highest ranking because everybody downloaded it at one time. Lisa talks about how her they'd already not been able to meet the demand because everybody wanted it downloaded. It wasn't that we were buying it. And that's not something that we really talk about, but it's not that people are really buying it, but you've told every tribe, and if there are like 10,000 of us downloading your book, how awesome is that? And probably I know it's not 10,000, but the people that you're going to meet, they can see that you had a bestseller or it's recognized as a bestseller. You wouldn't say, well, I just had people download it. And as far as you being a coach, I think it's good that you get the certification, but I would not explain to anyone that you are not already a certified coach. You can give yourself, I am a transformational coach. I am a whatever type of coach. Claim it as it is. This is what you are. I mean, I do have a doctorate, but most people don't know whether I'm a doctor of medicine or a doctor of education or a doctor of science.
So what are you a doctor in?
Education.
Okay.
It just matters that, I can speak the language of wherever I'm standing before you, like you have a minister or a pastor, and, they're not necessarily certified or indoctrinated into that genre. So I'm just saying you already own that, Francisca. Now,
yes.
That's not to say that you shouldn't get the certification. That would be great. But going forward, just say that I am whatever type coach, transformational coach, inspirational coach.
Yeah.
Claim that as you go.
Yes.
And because you carry yourself in that manner anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I've done it over years. It feels comfortable.
Right.
Although I'm a bit uneasy about the 1 May, I think I'm pushing the envelope too far.
No.
So tomorrow I'll be creating, you guys know, okay, I already have it in my head, but I need to create the actual content to post on the page. So I was busy trying to at least produce something in the writing, because then I'll be a real fraud. I haven't finished my book, and then I'm starting another course.
Yeah. Well, that was, like I said, one of the things that I just wanted to be able to say that I have created, this book, and with however many of you finish on time, I won't give a number. I have worked with several authors to publish their book. Or if you don't get yours published in the next 8 weeks, I have worked with several authors in creating their book. I'm not saying that you have finished it. And I'm sure everyone that works with Kathy does not become a bestseller. Many of them do, but she has knowledge that I don't know yet. And I'm not trying to. And who knows, one day I may take a course with Kathy, not so much because I want to write a book, but it's so that I can learn what I don't know, so that I can tell the next person when I charge them $6.97. Right now, I'm comfortable with $3.97. I don't know as much as my coach knows, so I'm not going to charge you $4.97, but $3.97 is sufficient. And everything that I've learned to do, I'm going to give you pretty much the main link that you can do it too, but you just may have to do a little more research, because I was done in 4 weeks, as she said, but the only thing I hadn't done was the cover of my book. And I just couldn't figure out how to get those dimensions. And it's not by accident that the back of my book is black. It's just that my son didn't know how to put that color over here. So it could be red, it could be green, it could be blue, but he couldn't. Purple is the color of Alzheimer's, so we could do that, but he didn't know how to get it on the back. So when you're printing it, it's open up like this, and you do something over here. So your book may be two-tone. Francisca, if you want my son to do your cover, it might be two-tone, or I don't know. And the number that I'm going to give you, or the link that I'm going to give you for KDP, they will actually answer those questions for you too. They have workshops that you can attend. I didn't attend that workshop. I had done enough. So if I need to go to more workshops to learn more, then I can do that. And that's open. That's available for you all to do as well. Mm-hmm. The main thing that I'm leaving you with is that everything that I've done is replicatable. It's just that you have to do the additional work to find it. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have the time to look for it, then you might just decide that your book could be two-toned as well. But it's it's a decision. So to me, that's the secret sauce is what you are not getting in type. One, I don't necessarily know what the secret sauce is. It's just in my head, and I read it, and I know that this is what we'll do. And that's when I said, well, so this week we're doing this. This week we're doing that. Nowhere is it actually written to put things in categories. That's just how my mind works. Mm-hmm. And other people's mind may work differently. But Lisa says, you have a tribe. Share what you're writing with your tribe so that they can give you feedback. Does this make sense? Are you understanding it? Paula read everything that I wrote, or everything that we wrote, and we're done. So, okay, what else? What other questions?
Yeah.
Answer for you? Okay, so I'm going to go and share. I'm going to share with you the screen, I think, that you're going to go to.
Okay.
All right, well, try to hang in there just a little bit longer. Oh, shoot. Is that it?
There are other webinars listed on the help pages.
So
as always, happy
here. Share my screen. Share. Come back here. Okay. Okay, here is the link. And here is the document. Do you see my screen? What to do next? What to do next?
Yes.
Okay, so you watch this video. It's 21 minutes and 49 seconds. So watch that video. All right. Then whatever that video tells you. I'm stopping sharing, and I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so now you should see a Word document, right? Mm-hmm. Now that your document can be in anything, but I only know how to do it from Microsoft Word. You will download Kindle. Kindle is already downloaded onto my computer. You download it from watching that video that you just saw. You download it, and Kindle comes up here in your window, in your ribbon. Kindle. Okay, and so it changed a little bit. You see, get started. The themes have changed. Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. All right, so here it says choose get started. Click on get started. This is in Kindle. And just read this, blah, blah, blah. I just went ahead and said, this is what mine will look like. You can change it later. Click on continue. What do you want your chapters to look like? This. You can always change it. So let's just choose, I think I went with this one. Let's just say I chose that one. Probably 6x9. This is your book, your page size as well. So if your page size is not 6x9, you'll have to go find the right size. So 6x9 is what my page size is. So click that and click continue. Then you're finished. But all of this is in the tutorial.
Okay.
Now I'm just going to go out, I'll minimize that, and just choose something. File, open. I'm just going to choose a document. Hopefully. Any document. Computer. My book. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know where's a. Okay, let me just go get something. Let me go get I'm just going to go get something. I'm going to go back out to the internet and blog on maturity. Blog on maturity. And let's see. I don't know if you can see what I got right now, but half of what I got ain't what I want. Blog. I want something, just something to represent typing. Okay, do you see what the difference between duration and maturity? Do you see that?
No.
Okay, so let me stop sharing and share again. Now do you see what's the difference between duration and maturity?
Yes.
Okay, so this, let's just say this is just my book. This is just something I got from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your work, your book. Copy. And I'm going to put it in a Word document. New. Okay, do you see it in Word? Probably not.
Not yet.
Okay, let me go back up. I have to stop sharing and then reshare so that you can see share.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my Word? Now do you see it? Do you see what's the difference between? Okay,
Yes.
I could have kept that. So this is, whatever this is, I'm going to take that out because I'm not sure how that's going to come up. And I'm going to double space it just for now, but you don't have to. I'm going to double space it and click on OK. All right, so now I'm going to I'm going to leave that Matthew there so you can see what a picture looks like. I'm going to copy, Control Alt, Control C. All right, now I'm going to go back to my Kindle page. Do you see Kindle?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so you can see where I'm back at Kindle. Share, Kindle. Okay, I'm back at my Kindle page now, right?
Yes.
And that information that was in Word, which is representing your book, Control V. Control V. Okay, so now you see that my book is over here to the left, I think. Can you see my book over here to the left?
Yep.
And so now I want to remind you, if you save one copy of your book as your original, because as you go back and make changes, you need to make the changes to the original and not the Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
And just put it back in Kindle, because sometimes it didn't always take. And no one really sees that but me. But on page 5 of my book, I've got one of my chapter headings. Well, 2 or 3. Most of them are in capital letters, but some of them are not. And it's because I didn't catch it when I ask it to print. And on page 6, you can see appearance matters.
Mm-hmm.
Page 104, appearance is lowercase ap.
Yep.
But I said, you know what? It wasn't that important. It wasn't that important. But I do know that I made the corrections in the Kindle, but the Kindle didn't take it. So I know you need to go to the original and make all the corrections and then put it back into Kindle.
Put it back into Kindle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So remember to do that. So now I'm just going up here. And so I don't want this to be this size. I don't want this to be this size. And you want your headings, all of your headings to be the same size. I'm going to do it here, but I'm not going to print it. So I'm going to change it. But up here, do you see the ribbon chapter title?
Yes.
Okay. So I've highlighted my chapter title and I clicked on it and you see it changed the title. And it's also creating my table of contents for me as well.
How did it do that?
Well, I just went up here to this ribbon. Well, what I've said is I'm going to change this. I don't want this to be however big it was before.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was referring to the table of contents piece.
Oh, the table of contents, it just creates itself automatically.
Oh.
You don't see it until you're done. It's when I click on this thing here, and then I clicked on chapter title, and it changed the size. I'm going to make this little word here a subtitle. I click on subtitles. You see, it gave me a space here. I'm going to indent. I just pressed my tab key here. And let's just say that this was, I don't have a box in here, but you would have had the box already in here. But you just go through here and look at what you want to change. Sometimes there's a little bit of a break, but it's not a chapter, but you want to put something. You put that little break there.
Like if I wanted to put a quote in there or something?
Well, no, it's this thing here, these three little dots.
Oh, I see. Okay.
3 little dots. Your quotes are going to be apply an element, title page, book starts in, body elements. Let's see. I think it's going to be here. Title elements. You're going to do this, the book title. I went to here. And if it's the title of the book, subtitle. So I was going to do a subtitle. So let's find my subtitle. The subtitle was this one, written by title, page, book, subtitle. If you want it indented. If you want it centered, the subtitle. You'll just play around with the ones that you want. And then I wanted all of my paragraphs to be indented. And I indent those just by pressing the tab key. And this could be a subtitle, a closer look at maturity. I'm clicking on apply elements by type. Okay.
So even if it was indented when you wrote it, when I wrote it out in a Word document, when I paste it over into Kindle, I will have to go back and set the indentation.
It probably indents it. It probably indents it, and it probably will go into Kindle as an indentation.
Okay.
Okay. So, but you may want. Let's go back. The features work pretty much the same. So you may want to go here. And let's just say that this was a quote, whatever, a closer look at maturity. Okay, so it went, the number of pages in your book has changed and has made changes to the margins for best printing. That's fine. It says that it's changed the print or something. But anyway, there was a quote, and you'll look and see that I've got Mahalia Jackson or somebody did something. So these are just things that you'll play around with. Those were the things that I would help you with if you couldn't find it.
Okay.
And if you really can't find something, there is a help button, a help box. You can type your question in and they will help you as well.
Okay.
So that's about all that I have for today. So now it's pretty much, you're really ready to print and publish your book, unless you have unless you have specific questions for me.
Come on, Francesca, where's your energy?
Yeah, I do believe that you're ready.
Yay.
So as I said, if you really just put your book in Microsoft Word and just, not that I'm going to do it, but I can show you what I think might look right. And then you can say, well, no, I didn't want that, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind doing that. And well, let me see if I can show you. Well, it's a little bit more something that you have to do to get your page, but your table of content is being formatted as you click on those different things, and then you just ask it to print. Your title page, if you look at page
okay.
if you look at page, like this page here, this page is set up, and I put the emblem as the center. It's centered. It gave me that type. The quote went into these squares that you see on page, well, Rosalind Carter's quote. And then your ISBN number, it just comes from clicking on something. And your cover, my cover was designed by my son, so I put that there. And I have a website, so I put that there. But the book title, it's a form that you fill out, and it puts it there. So, and it numbers the pages for you. Now, when you go in and you see that you've got like page 11, page 11, if page 11 went all the way down to page 11 and it was just a small one line, because passing the mantle would be another page, I just took out some words, because you don't want one page, you don't want one full page with just 3 words on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you would just go back and redo that. Or what I could have done, I could have made this page of my mother bigger, and more words could have gone here to bring it down. So it's just a matter of wiggling it around of sorts. Yeah. And then I think on page 19 was probably set up like a quote, and then I italicized it to make it look a little different than the writing. And you can see that on aging, it should come up a little bit higher if I was looking at all the other pages, but I wanted it to look a little more centered. Yeah. So, yeah. So it's always good to have something to look at, but I think that, you are at a doable point. It's there.
I want this out.
I'm sorry?
I want this book out of me.
Yeah, that was what I wanted. And I thought in 4 weeks I'm going to have this done, but I did. Well, I say I had it done in 5, and you all had 8, and a lot of it was just the writing that took the time to do it, and just thinking that, who would want to read about my mother? But then I just said, well, let me just go ahead and do it, and it would be something for my grandchildren or my cousins, and just something to do, and to be able to say that I have done it. And then I didn't do it with the thought of teaching someone else to do it, but I can do it. And even if you don't get yours published, I did work with several authors to write their own book. And no one is going to ask me, am I a coach? Ask me for, it would be great if I had the evidence. So I'm saying to you, Francisca, own the fact that you are a transformational speaker. And the evidence is I'm standing before you today talking about whatever, and here is my book. That, oh my gosh, she's written a book as well. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we need to build the evidence. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know I jumped in later, but I was trying to catch up. Just pray for my disorder. Like I write so much, and then I'm like, oh, where is it?
Well, as I said, all that I had written too, it was all over the place, and I was concerned that, it wasn't in any order. And she said that, it isn't like it's a sequential document.
Yeah.
It is just a time that happened, and this is what Lisa teaches us too. Everything, every moment, every incident, everything that we do is a chapter. We can write volumes about whatever. You could write volumes, Tara, about how much reading you've done and how what you've read seem to overlap, whether it's Miles or the one who talks about the end in mind,
Stephen Covey,
T.D. Jakes, all of those, these things that they talk about, they're talking about them at different times, but you can just take one thing that Lisa talks about and like, oh, I can see how this applies here, and there. You just want it to be, people do not want to work when they're reading.
Right.
I don't want to have to think about what does that look like. Show me in words that I can see more than, and honestly, Francisca, not to just overpraise you, but you do a great job of creating pictures and imagery with your speaking. So I really enjoy listening to you, and I'm sure it will be quite enjoyable too. And your son has a little of that as well. He doesn't have it's not as profound for him as it is for you, but I'm really hoping that he too will not dismiss writing. I know that he's busy and he's starting a new life, but he can do it.
He's actually doing. He's trying to get what do you call them? They have to do ground school and fly and be tested whether they are worthy to actually start flying.
Right.
So he took a break when he came for graduation. Others actually got their uniform, so he's under pressure to catch up with the rest of the team. And then I was like, Mom, my writing is suffering because right now I'm just trying. He was moving house today, so it's crazy for him and just trying to navigate a new province without a car and stuff. And
Well, I want you to encourage him to just jot down a thought. Like I want to talk about.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to say goodnight. When I was going through my divorce, I didn't have I didn't feel like I had extra money to spend on birthday gifts, or not to even mention a birthday cake. So my son, who was 9 at the time, we went to McDonald's, and I bought an apple pie and a candle. And that was like the best birthday you would have thought that he had, the way that he just made such a fuss. So that I could write a whole chapter about his 9th birthday and how much he enjoyed it because he was spending time with me, and he felt, not that he didn't feel safe with his dad, I don't mean that, but he knew that he was the most loved child, and that was the best pie with the candle. So as your son thinks about instances, because it's capturing that instance, we can talk about it, he can write about it, but if he can't remember it, then it's a memory loss. Okay.
So I think I have one more just thing. Where are the playbacks on the our Zoom calls?
They're in Zoom. I mean, they're in the Facebook group.
Oh, okay. Is it titled that way, or?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
I'll try to find this. Probably only 4 because we missed 2, and this would be 4. I'll see if I can find them and get them closer to the top, or put them in a week, because I didn't know about doing the weeks until later. Okay.
Yeah, because I actually want to go back and I need to hear stuff again, so I just want to be in sync.
Right. And I am here, so if you want to run something by me, that is not a problem. So Okay.
I'm gonna upload a couple things. I'm gonna upload a little bit more tonight for you to take a look at if you don't mind. And
Me too.
Okay. I'd be happy to. All right, ladies.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Until next time. Good night.
thank you.
Have a good night. Happy writing, Tara.
All right, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.